Okay, well, this is the first official race of the year. We are down in Carson, California. This is CBR number one, and this is a 45 and 50 plus Masters 1, 2, 3 combined. Field today was 102. Huge field. Lots and lots of hungry racers. We are racing on the Dominguez Hills course, making right turns. As you can see, it's a four-corner course with a couple little bumps here and there. Not super flat, but not super hilly either. I mean, it's more power climbs. Beautiful day today. It was 75 degrees and sunny at race time. Ended up being just a nice day all around. Slightly cloudy, but just nice and warm. Just a perfect day for racing. As you can see, everybody's got shorts and jerseys. Lots of new teams out, kits. There's a big orange in front of us. Team's been around a while. Hit Squad, they've been around. There's a new, that's Thurl Rogers there that I just passed. He's wearing his new Davis Finney Foundation kit. That's the Monster Media guys that's in front of me, and the I guess that would be blue and green and black. That's their new team colors this year. A lot of them are riding the new Cola Vita bikes that their team captain sells, Chris DeMarchi. They came with a pretty big team, stacked. There's Bart Holleran. He came out from Minnesota to come enjoy our California sunshine. There were so many guys on Monster Media, I kind of lost track of who was actually here. I knew the ones that we really need to worry about. You got Chris DeMarchi, Randall Coxworth, Carl Bodine, all these, Dave Casel, national champion. We knew that they would be just attacking the race and making everybody, on their back foot. So I have a strong team. So my team this year is the Evoke Master Cycling. We came out with our full squad with Bart Clifford, Sprinter, John Slover, David Holland, Mike Penta, Andrew Knuckles. We added Mike Frias to the team this year, who races in the 55 category, but looks like he's 25. The guy's just a magnificent specimen of a human being. He's just a motor on the bike too. He just can throw down. So he's been a huge help in addition to the team. Got Joel Wheeler, John Lance, David Wells. Pretty solid team. There was a break up the road had Chris DeMarchi. I think it had Eric Bierman. Actually, no, this is a bigger break that's up the road. And I'm going across this gentleman from the Capo Masters team here. Went after it, and I had two teammates up the road, so I can't chase, but I can tag along and get a free ride. So as we roll up, this is a pretty solid break right here. There's Carl Bodine right in front of me. He's a former national champion. I think he's actually the national champion of the road this year. So there's two Monster Media guys that won nationals this year. Dave Casel's the Criterium in the 45 to 49. He's actually in the race as well. I think he's back in the field behind me. This break wasn't really working very well together. So I got Tommy Robles from Davis Finney in the break right in front of me there. He's a sprinter. Dave Casel is in the break. So they had Dave Casel. Also, all the strong Monster Media guys. There's my teammate. So the field pretty much reeled us in at this point. We're all back together. I'm not sure when Chris DeMarchi rolled off, or if he's already rolled off, but I know that he was off in a break with Eric Bierman and a guy named Scott Schaefer from the Courier team, who I actually met after the race. I didn't know who he was, but those guys were dangling off the front for the last quite a few laps. We almost brought them back at the end, but it's pretty hats off to them for staying off. They must be right up ahead of us. They must have slipped off from this group. That's why Monster's not chasing, which makes sense. There's Jason Midoff. He's a new addition to Monster. He was on Methods to Winning last year. He's a world champion points on the points race on the track. Super strong rider. Didn't recognize him without his beard. He used to have a really long beard, and he was easy to recognize. I didn't recognize him. There's Thurlow Rogers again. Our game plan in this race was to cover any dangerous breaks, have our guys in it, so we didn't have to do any chasing. Or if it was coming down to a sprint, then we would all get all hands on deck, move to the front, and try to do a lead out if possible. Between Bart and I, we would probably be the sprinters today. We definitely have a strong enough team to do a lead out. Like, most of our guys were riding towards the front most of the race, so it was kind of nice. The average speed for this race was about, I think it was according to my Strava and my Garmin, was 27.4. I believe we raced for 55 minutes. I just recorded like the last 15 minutes of this race. There was just multiple breaks off the front, which just kept coming back. One break looked to be pretty solid. I didn't think we were going to bring them back, but we ended up bringing them back. Just a lot of horsepower. When you have 102 riders, I think it was, with between the two combined fields. There's Pat Caro. He's on the I forget the name of the team, but they're also purple like us. He's got John Garbo and Max Hernandez. Max races in the 35 plus race, but he races in the second race. But Pat Caro's super strong rider. He ends up being a big reason why I had a really good result today. See, Monster's kind of clogging up the front. They want to be a presence at the front, but they don't want to chase because they're going to cover anybody that goes across. But they're not going to chase because Chris DeMarchi's off the front, and they want to keep him off the front. So it makes sense that they are just being a presence at the front, but not chasing. And that's just pretty much textbook tactics as a team. There's Pat Boss to my left there, right in front of me. He's on Hit Squad. He's really strong. He'd usually be one of the ones that will be up in the break. As we start getting into the last few laps, my team will start moving up towards the front. You can always tell when the race is starting to get down to the nitty-gritty. You see all the sprinters starting to move up. Everybody's starting to get serious. Yours truly included. Not sure where all my teammates are at this point, but I think they all start to move up. I actually told my teammates a few times when they came up next to me, what should we do? They said, what should we do? And I said, well, we've got 2 guys off the front, and we're not bringing them back, and it seems like Monster Media is blocking, so I'm going to assume it's one of them up there. We need to start chasing. So David Holland and Mike Penta. Mike Penta is one of our really strong. He's our state champion time trialist. Goes to the front, and they really start to throw the hammer down and start to really close the gap. There will be a crash going into Bell Lap that takes out 7 riders, including Tommy Robles, Tony Rago, John Garbo. 3 of our really fierce competitors that are always in there in the mix at the end. And from my team, Andrew Knuckles, Dave Holland, and Bart Clifford also crash. So 7 riders go down. I'm moving up now because we're getting towards the end. Monster Media is really trying to keep themselves at the front. So we're going into 2 laps to go here. So now we come up. I can see my teammates are all starting to get towards the front, so I want to stay as close to the front as I can. I like it when the pace stays really high. So there goes Tommy's moving up as well. That's Kirk Bausch, his teammate right behind him there. So there's 2 laps to go. This is kind of the lap where you don't want to be on the front, but you definitely want to be towards the front because the pace is going to stay high. I mean, our game plan, if there's 2 laps to go, was to get our horses on the front and just drive the pace. As you can see, we're going close to 30 miles an hour. This is kind of a downhill. I mean, I've been down this stretch at 30, 35 miles an hour, so we're actually not going hard enough to chase a breakdown. We should be going a lot harder. You'll see my teammate sweep across my front wheel here. I was like, whoa, what are you doing? So he attacks off the front, which not sure why. I think in his mind, he just wanted to bring DeMarchi back, or at least go up to him. So our guys are on the front just kind of riding steady hard, because we still have 1 lap to go. You don't want to burn all your bullets, right on with a lap and a half to go. So I'm just trying to get my way up on my teammates' wheels here. Now Andrew, my teammate who attacked out of that corner, is ahead of us by about 25-50 meters. You can see him up ahead there. When he goes around turn 4 at the top of this hill, he's going to wash out his front wheel, and then there's a bit of a chain reaction, and that's what causes the crash. And Barton right in front of me and Tommy just to my left there all go down in the scrum when everybody hits the brakes. See David Holland's wheel just got taken out there, so I snuck inside of that, and I've got Joel Wheeler on the front with Pat Caro behind him, and we are rolling up on I think it's Eric Bierman, who I'm not sure if he was chasing or if he was in the break and got tailed off. I'm guessing he was probably chasing, because if he was in the break, I don't think he would get dropped. And then Chris DeMarchi and Scott are right just in front of us around the corner. So Joel is just going as hard as he can. That was like a light uphill, and now it drops down. So he's done his piece, and then Pat looks back, doesn't know if he wants to go, and then Mike Frias, my teammate, comes around. Thank God. So Mike comes around and puts his head down and says, let's go. So Pat's looking around because he wants to see if his teammate John Garbo is behind, because John's his little sprinter. He just wants to see if John's there, and I don't think he can see him, but he knows he's just going to go at this point. So, but we all have purple, so he may have just looked back and thought he saw him. I don't think he knew that he crashed. So he smacks his butt right there. That means he's going to go. So Pat's about as strong as anybody out there, so he starts to just lay it down. We're doing 30, 32, 31, up a slight grade. Now it's flattened out. We got 1 turn and then a slight uphill to turn 4, which is about 300 meters. And then it's a 250 meter sprint to the line. I look back and see I have a little gap, so I jump right here. And I just want to get to that corner first. And I have a pretty good long sprint, so I just want to get safely through this turn. I know there was a crash, so I can see that it's safe, so I take as wide as I can. I see the two guys in front of me from the break, and I'm just honing them down as fast as I can, trying to catch them. I pass Scott Schaefer, who was actually the first 50 plus, and I almost catch Chris, but Chris holds me off. So Chris wins the race and the 45 plus, and I won the 50 plus since I was the first 50.